In 1972, Chicago were on top of the world when they released their fourth studio album and their fifth overall, Chicago 5, known amongst fans as the Wood-Carved album, and also their first single album after three double studio albums and a quadruple fourth. And from this album, the James Pankow composition, Now That You're Gone. Wow, quite a opening roll there from Danny Seraphine. Some echo on there. Very unique pattern. 6/4. Had some of that funky guitar right there. Yeah, James Pankow's influence. The one who, it seems like he was the one who was most prone to those like odd meters during this time period. Oh, those bass interjections by Cetera are quite choice. Oh, hear those rolls? They're like speeding up there. God, it sounds like almost two drummers. Take a closer look inside yourself. Oh, Kath giving us a really soulful, like gutsy, full-throated vocal delivery. You may see the love that I left behind. God, Kath, a really underrated vocalist. Kind of got that kind of like Ray Charles type tone. Days were fast but full of life, laughed at every day. Now you're gone, time standing still. I don't do anything. I'm so oh, the way he howls, the way he belts it out there. Let's catch up with the lyrics here. Take a look inside yourself. You may see the love I left behind. Days were fast but full of life. We laughed at everything. Now you've gone. Time is standing still. I don't do anything. I'm so alone, so lonely. First time I ever really followed the lyrics to it. So it's about reflecting on a past relationship, as the title would indicate. But the chorus is just kind of so jovial. Fold out bridge there, kind of like almost like a non sequitur between the verse and the chorus. I mean, it goes into some passages and some key sequences I wouldn't expect us to get to. Taking the long route to the chorus. Still I can't recall a happy time. I got, once again, Seraphine's really dominating here. So was it just just a day? He's emphasizing the four. He's hitting that hi-hat on the four. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. When you turned to me, said goodbye. And I love the contrast between like Cetera's vocals dominating the chorus, Kath on the verses. This is one of my favorite breaks in the song. This is in 5/4. 1 dun 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 dun. Yeah, and once again, kind of like the power trio in the band, like Cetera and well, particularly like the rhythm section here is really dominating with some choice fills by Pankow and Loughnane. actually got some more. I know, yeah. The horns are also kind of playing the melody. A couple of them are soloing. At least one of them's soloing. Well, one of them's doing that. Yeah, I guess Pankow was kind of soloing there, and like Walt was kind of like playing along with that melody. Hear that tambourine right there? Far chords right here, going into like E flat, you know, all those. Great way to seg right back into the song proper. Just when you thought they had gone a bridge too far, how were they going to get back? Just like tense up, right? Like move up half a step, tense up, and. Oh, great trade-off between Cetera doing the chorus line and then Kath coming in, like ad-libbing between each line. I love those flare-ups on the horns, like, no, 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 like that sometimes. Now all the complexities that we had heard, it's kind of like the intro, only like a bit fuller this time with more elements and just. Oh, one of the best like interlocking moments between Loughnane and Pankow. God, hear them just like fill up like all over this. Basically the horn section, like Cetera, Seraphine, and then Kath giving us some of that wah-wah, pretty much understated guitar-wise. His presence here was more the vocals. Oh, hear all those notes that are just fluttering, being squeezed right out. Like we got those like charts that no that right there like and then that fluttering, you know. That really raunchy right there. That was Now That You've Gone from Chicago off their 1972 release, Chicago 5. Yes, their first single album after a slew of multi-album releases. And 5 songs per side, and that being perhaps the jazziest and most eclectic of the numbers. And curiously, it's James Pankow's only songwriting contribution on the album. Terry Kath also contributes a ballad on side 2, and other than that, all the material is written by Robert Lamm. In fact, it's perhaps the most Lamm-dominated, songwriting-wise. And the irony here is that this song, I didn't even really hear him on the track. I guess he sat this one out. Maybe, who knows, maybe there was a bit of an ego clash, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. But Lamm's material is excellent as well. I mean, he contributes like a hit by Varice, a standout, While the City Sleeps, and State of the Union, 2 really great tracks. Yeah. Goodbye, kind of a bossa nova track. Oh, and of course the timeless hit Saturday in the Park. And Dialogue, the two-parter. Supposedly, part two gets played in certain markets. I cannot imagine it being played without part one, though. That just wouldn't be right. Anyway, yeah, great album. One of their best. Chicago 5, released on Columbia in 1972 with the very clever wood carving take on the familiar logo. Yeah, it seems like carved wood seems to be, it's just such a 1972 thing. I think going down through the 1972 album directory, there must be, I'd imagine there are about 10 album covers throughout the, like, scattered throughout the 12 pages of like over 1,000 albums that have some variation of the wood theme going on. A very woodsy, rustic year overall in music. And let's see, any special credits on this album? We got our 7 guys, and produced by William Guercio, of course, who was with the band up through 11. And well, the wood carving is courtesy of Nick Fasciano. Yeah, and might some of his other credits on Discogs be? Looks like did he do anything? Oh, he did Fleetwood Mac in Chicago. Huh? You know, I don't think I've ever seen the cover to that. Oh, he did one cover that resembles a Chicago. Oh, he also did the next few albums. He did the dollar bill type cover on Chicago 6 and the leather engraving for Chicago 7. And with that has like all those historical moments. Oh, and he did the patch, the eagle patch for Chicago. Oh, it looks like he was involved in a whole bunch of visuals. Yeah, he was. I guess he was kind of their artist for a time. And well, he's responsible for the logo anyway. The concept anyway. Yeah, I guess I haven't really studied the parts. Oh, he was involved. Let's see, Radio, Derringer, Loggins and Messina, Native Sons. Yeah. Anyway, and yeah, the Chicago self-titled from 1970 with the steel. So I guess he's the guy that does the logo. Actually, he didn't. If that's the case, who did the wood? Who actually did the wood carving? Well, they say he actually did the wood carving. So I'm impressed. Yeah, I thought when I saw that, I thought it meant that he just did the carving. I didn't think he was necessarily responsible, but it looks like. Well, the lettering, I think, Beverly Scott, huh? But he was involved in a lot of the covers anyway. Huh. Yeah, that's a topic unto itself, something I've never really studied before. Anyway. For more Rubies and Sapphires from the catalog of Chicago, see the directory of albums by American pop, blue-eyed soul, and jazz pop artists. Linked in the description below for Red Hot Tracks and Purples from all the Chicago albums up from, well, anyway, from 1969 to 1988 anyway, and as well as like-minded artists, you know, from the period like Hall & Oates, Steely Dan, America, yeah, goes on and on and on. Like and subscribe, follow me on social media, share the video, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the track we just heard, the instrumentation, the interplay, the counterpoint, the different sections. A lot of sections to that. There must have been like 6 different sections, you know, the metric density, the who had the best break, the best solo. Was it Seraphine? Was it Pankow? Was it Loughnane? Yeah. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear-traveled trimaximalist, signing off.